narcissism. It kind of looks like, or I definitely have that experience where accusing someone to be narcissistic has somewhat become a trend. A very easy go-to place. If some people have like certain traits, they must be narcissistic, and there is a lot of self-help videos out there how to deal with narcissism. And I do believe, I do get, and I sometimes take notes of it myself, that it can actually be very helpful in certain kinds of situations where conversations, interactions have become difficult, and especially when there is like gaslighting, that in certain conversations with certain tactics and traits that you are like losing all sense of self, and you like are cornered. You feel like you don't have any other option to oblige to whatever is happening in a conversation, or to like certain degrees where you like slowly, gradually, like completely lose yourself. And I have been there. I most certainly, and I don't like to admit it, have done that as well. I think to certain degrees, we all have certain traits where we communicate to people that are not necessarily very empowering. And when you look at it underneath, how much of that is like points of views that you function from, you try to protect yourself, past experiences, and if you're into like, believers of lifetimes, this lifetime, past lifetimes, and the narcissism thing has been something that I've been looking at myself a few years ago, when I was dealing with certain situations and people that I felt like I didn't know what to do anymore. I felt like I had no choice, and I felt cornered. And in doing so, I did like some research, and I've gotten information from very different corners, and one of those corners is from the modality access consciousness, that has shifted the narrative of has shifted the narrative on that way, and looks at narcissism very different. And I do believe that accusing someone of being a narcissist can be very, can actually be dangerous. And if I'm going to like share a little piece from what I have found from that modality access consciousness that can actually explain why it is dangerous to accuse people of being a narcissist. And it doesn't mean that you cannot hold people accountable to the stuff that they're like doing. I do get that labeling, as with anybody and anything, if you like label it, you can really like fix it, and you can like really corner people, cage people, and if they're like extremely sensitive, which is like the way that access consciousness looks at, they are sensitive, they are aware of it, and even if it's not really outspoken, they like must fight it. And within that fight, nobody actually gets free from this. So it has been such a contribution and a help in my world, because I've been really like doubting and looking at myself everywhere that I'm like, a narcissist. And anyways, I'm going to share it, and I hope it may be a contribution to you, whether you are thinking that you're a narcissist and like really have like lots of shame and blame and guilt about it, or you have been accused, or you know somebody who is being accused, or you're accusing them of narcissism, I really hope this can like really change something there. And yeah, so narcissism according to the modality access consciousness. What happens with somebody who is narcissistic is that they have huge amounts of awareness as a small child. They become so overwhelmed by the people around them, especially if they are just a tad over insane. Now, what they mean with a tad over insane, like the environment they grow up with, the parents, the household, the culture. With over insane is, for example, they can grow up in a household that's like extremely angry and are like maybe even suppressing it. Or it can be anything that is like not healthy. And this can be very expressed, that level of insanity, and this can be and this can also be like not expressed when you are like growing up with in a household and an environment where you're not even allowed to express your anger, but it's there. And like children with huge level of awareness that are very sensitive to this, they pick it up, like no matter if you try to suppress it or not. So I hope this helps. Then they will create a universe of their own from which they can exclude others. Everybody assumes that they are very self-serving and self-centered, and that is not actually what's occurring. They are so aware, so sensitive of everybody else's reality that in order to exist, they have to shut out everybody else's reality. Now, that decision that they make at age 1, 2, or 3 or earlier is still running their life. And for most of them, they are unwilling to have the level of awareness they actually have. They avoid the awareness of anyone else's point of view as though it is going to kill them, crush them. If you are going to So it's not a psychological disability. It is a way they have learned how to function, how to cope with too much ability. If you are going to unlock this for yourself or with somebody else, they have to realize that the level of awareness that's going to come to them is going to be intense, that they must see it is their choice to have that level of awareness or to be destroyed by it. So I really hope, I love every little piece of it, and it's just like some piece of information that can like really shift something dynamic, to like shift and move the heaviness and the stuckness that goes with it. And you can always feel free to reach out to me for if this is like something that is really up in your world. What if it doesn't? What if narcissism is really not what we think it is? And I'm actually going through my notes to see if there's like anything else that I can add that is of help. The thing is like it really boils down to really once you have like that information and you don't or like hold hostage anymore by any and all of this, is to go out, explore what it is to be like freely you. And one of the stuff that I have been experiencing over the years is you have like a zone of awareness, and when you look in nature with the animals, just like in nature has like an extremely huge zone of awareness, and a zone of awareness is experienced as space. And when you look at the leader in nature in an animal pack, is the one that has the biggest zone of awareness. And in that zone of awareness, it's not like a faucet, a tap that you can like shut off or protect yourself from it. Like the faucet is open or it is closed. And what I've noticed with myself, if you want to like stop, if you want to stop being so aware because it feels painful, you actually make yourself very small. And this is something also that can occur with people who have experienced any type of abuse, is they close off their world as well, and and their zone becomes as little as their body, and you can really have like collapsed zone of awarenesses. And one of the signs you have like a collapsed zone of awareness is like you scare off very easily. You're like not see things coming. You do not feel or hear people coming. It's like you're like started very easily. And there's lots of different practices to really start expanding that zone of awareness, so you can explore how it is to like be you with all that level of sensitivity to what you're aware of in the world. And it's not the protection, man, I've tried it out, trial and error. Protection never ever works. It just creates less for you. And it really is the trick to have whatever works for you, is like have the practices to relax into yourself, relax into your body, relax into situations, and have your space, have that zone of awareness, and you will become much more able to for anything. And yeah, and then one of these practices can be as simple as have some time with an animal or spend some time in nature. And I have noticed that as well, like with myself and with others. If that doesn't seem insufficient enough, what else can you add that can really dynamically shift and change that zone of awareness of yours? And finally, I just want to add this. Have we got, so this is also from, they call them in Access Consciousness reference materials. Have we all got a bit narcissism in us? No. You all have places where you have decided you don't want to have awareness of stuff, and then you cut it off. But this particular thing is truly a result of having extreme awareness as a child and having parents who are emotional pollutants. So parents who are like extremely emotional and vomit it out. And again, I cannot how do you say that? Say this enough, that sometimes it isn't expressed with words, and sometimes it can be expressed through physical, like violence. There's like so many different ways how this pollution can be emotional, mental, blah blah blah. So their energy, their emotions, their anger, their upsets are all so pervasive that the child goes, I can't deal with this. And they start creating their own little universe and cutting their awareness off in order to do that. So they make their zone really, really, really small. And yeah, so people have so much intense awareness that they have to create their own little universe so they can be accused of being narcissistic. I really hope this helps. And yeah, feel free to reach out.